It's not that simple. He also went on to state that back in the day with him being an older player, we'd be in the locker room, we'd come out, we'd do the introductions, and then they'd play the game. The anthem would be played while they're on the inside. Then the Department of Defense started paying money to the NFL for flyers and demonstrations, and then it became a different policy. If the owners see that it's always been all about the flag and the anthem, their rights to be held to the same standard. So as I've said before, as Aaron Rodgers very clearly illustrated, beforehand, you didn't see any sort of demonstrations with the flag or the anthem unless it was Championship Sunday or the Super Bowl. All of a sudden now, it's every game. ESPN announced today that they're not going to be showing the national anthem on Monday Night Football, which I thought was kind of interesting. I was like, well, why not? Your competitors are going to be doing it. We know Fox is. Fox News is the Trump media network. In case you didn't know that, you saw what he did to Aretha Franklin. May God rest her dear soul. As she went on in to Judgment yesterday. Saw what they did to her. They put Patti LaBelle up there, and it was like, oh my bad, it was a mistake. Then he came out. She used to work for me. Okay, but I digress. Fox is Fox News. Them Trump's boys. We're not worried about them. They gonna show it every time. They gonna make a point of showing it, like they did last year. When we returned the singing of the national anthem and presentation of the flag. When did y'all start doing this? Never had done it before. It shocked me. CBS will probably do it. So will other people that show NFL games as well. Me, myself, I made it the point last season to where I used to watch the pregame shows and, be ready at 1 Eastern, 12 Central. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to watch the game. I made it the point now to not even watch the pregame shows because I don't want to hear about it. Yes, I have a job to do as a journalist with this, so I have to present it to you. But I made a choice myself. I said, I'm not watching this. I don't watch the pregame shows no more. I'll stay in bed or wherever I'm at, fix my fantasy lineup, pray around with the kiddies, talk to my wife, have a little conversation, watch a movie or whatever we're going to do. 12:15, come downstairs, turn on Red Zone. Because by then, the games have already started. I don't have to see it or hear about it. Same thing with the late games. 3:15, 3:20, 3:30. Hey, it's time to get something to eat. What you guys want for dinner? Let's talk about that for a quick second. Go back around 3:45. Hey, the game is on again. And we bypass it again. And then Sunday Night Football, I'm usually doing something else or working on show notes or gathering up other information to where I don't see it as well. I'll turn the game on to 8 o'clock anyways, if it's interesting. If not, I'm not watching it. So, again, it's going to continue to be an issue as far as the anthem is concerned. Another little news item that kind of not so much surprised me, but it's something I just thought should be brought to people's attention is that it's funny how people try to slide things and details by you without thinking that you won't see or hear about it, either one, until it's too late and you can't adjust for it, or two, on the basis that you won't care. And the NFL tried to do that earlier this week, on a late night on a Tuesday. And one of my followers on social media was like, hey, did you see this story on Poor Football Talk? I said, what story? They said the story about how the NFL is trying to fast-track Colin Kaepernick's collusion case. I said they wouldn't do that. They sent me the link and I read it. I looked up out of bed. I said, oh, no. I had to read this again. Basically, the league announced a motion filing for a summary judgment in the collusion case that was filed by Colin Kaepernick with the goal of getting the claim thrown out in lieu of a full-blown trial. In other words, they want all the depositions, all the notes, everything that they've done to this point in time. The NFL wants all that thrown out, and they want to go to court to have a judge decide this case. Which, theoretically, once he filed a collusion suit last year, couldn't you have done that and avoided all of this? But I digress. A motion on the hearing occurred last Thursday, and the arbiter, University of Pennsylvania law professor Stephen Burbank, has taken the matter under advisement, has spoken with DeMaurice Smith of the NFLPA and Roger Goodell and his legal team there, Greg Aiello, Jeff Pash, and those good old boys, quote unquote, at 345 Park Avenue. And with less than 3 weeks before the season opens, you'd think they'd want as less trouble as possible regarding this. You already have enough problems with the anthem and players in the tunnel and they're speaking out and of a ruling that denies the NFL's motion, and there's a sense that that could very much happen just based off of Professor Burbank and how he rules and how he's done different things legally, that this case could basically be found to be in Colin Kaepernick's favor. I myself have my own theory on this. What if this were to happen, let's say, the Friday before the regular season? Now, mind you, preseason ratings are down this year compared to last year. You have the anthem issues that are going on. Of course, Donald Trump is stoking the fires. Now you have lost a summary judgment against Colin Kaepernick in his collusion case, where he can basically go knock on the door at 345 Park Avenue and say, hey, here's a check filled out. Give me my money. Can you imagine the frenzy that would happen to the league offices? Oh, by the way, you guys play games in 2 days. Oh, no. Remember how they're meeting right now trying to figure out the rules and everything else? Hey, man, you can throw that out. You're going to see protests all over the place. Hear me? If Colin wins this case against them, and this would happen the Friday before the season starts, all hell will break loose at 345 Park Avenue. You want to see Roger Goodell on TV smiling and, hey, we love the games and football's back in. Yeah. Woo! That would be a very uncomfortable situation for any NFL employee to be in. They would get whipped into a panicked frenzy. 48 hours before kickoff, you lose a case. Your ratings are already on the decline because of the anthem and people kneeling and singing in locker rooms, the comments they're making. You're trying to build your sport back up. You basically would have thrown a torpedo in your own backyard and said, "Hey, it's not going to go off." You look back around and hear a boom, like, "Oh, what was that?" Oh, that's your season imploding. That's what that is. By the way, John Elway, Denver Broncos executive, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Oh man, just like Jerry Jones and Bob McNair before him, among others, pretty much rubber stamped this collusion case for Colin. With some of the comments that he made that the Broncos would not sign Kaepernick. This after the team has had quarterback issues this preseason. They signed Case Keenum from Minnesota, thinking they were going to get the Case Keenum from Minnesota last year, the Minnesota Miracle, the MVP candidate. Hey, this guy gets it. Everything is great. Instead, what they have gotten is Houston Texans Case Keenum, St. Louis Rams Case Keenum, and Los Angeles Rams under Jeff Fisher Case Keenum. Oh, but they got Paxton Lynch. Remember, they traded back in front of Dallas, and Jerry Jones wanted to give up the farm for the guy. But hey, never got Paxton Lynch. Deer in the headlights. Trash. Garbage. Sucked. Got demoted. Chad Kelly, former Mr. Relevant, nephew of Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. He now gets bumped up to the twos. Hate to say it, Colin's better than Case Keenum, Paxton Lynch, and Chad Kelly. Right now, today, fresh off the street, ain't thrown a pass since 2013. Can walk right in and just go, ha, I got this. But John always said, nah, no thanks. Went on to state that, quote, you know what, I said this a while ago. Colin had his chance to be here. We offered him a contract, he didn't take it. And as I said in my deposition, and I don't know if I'll be able to legally say this here, but he had his chance to be here, he passed it, end quote. That is incorrect. The Broncos tried to trade for Colin Kaepernick. However, they wanted him to take a $4 million pay cut down from 11.7 down to $7 million. So when Colin said no, the trade was nixed. And then when he got cut, they tried to offer him a lesser deal other than the $7 million that was being offered on the table. Colin still said no, and they went their separate ways. So with him getting up there and being real dismissive, you know what? Hey, he had his chance to be here. Time out, man. Tell the whole story. Tell the whole story. Just say, hey, we wanted him to be here. He wanted to take a pay cut. They cut him. We tried to lowball him again, try to save a little money right quick. He said no again. It is what it is. Don't try to disparage that man's character and sit back and try to make yourself look better because you done messed up and signed some scrub from Minnesota. You drafted somebody that can't play football, and now you're depending on Mr. Irrelevant of all people, Mr. Party Boy from Ole Miss, Mr. Hey, let's have a kegger, Chad Kelly, to save your ass at this point. When you could have avoided all this, signed him, and moved on. But you wanted to be dismissive. You spoke out of turn, which could legally come back to bite him in the NFL. You see, if the arbiter finds that Kaepernick has already shown enough evidence in relation to this signing and everything else that's happened to defeat a motion for it, he could deny a summary judgment for the NFL. Such a move is going to concern NFL officials, and they already have the inclination that he's leaning in favor to rule in favor of Colin Kaepernick. Said anxiety may propel the NFL to seek to such anxiety, as I'm reading my notes here, may propel the NFL to seek a financial settlement with Kaepernick out of court to avoid any further publicly embarrassment. However, with Elway openly discussing this testimony, it appears to violate the protective order that was put in place originally by Mark Garagos. Such disclosures is also at odds with the collective bargaining agreement, which requires the confidentiality of collusion grievances. Meaning that you cannot say what he said. Meaning that since this is of a public record, it can legally now be used against the NFL. Good job, John Elway. You just won one for your boy. By the way, just another note on Colin, if you will. He opted out of his contract on March 3rd of 2017. That was 532 days ago. He's 30 years old. He led the 49ers to a division championship in 2012. A Super Bowl appearance in 2013. Came within about 6 inches of going back in 2014. He ran for 181 against Green Bay in the playoffs at Candlestick on a Saturday night. Was one of the most electric performances in NFL playoff history. He beat the Packers at Lambeau. He beat Carolina as a 1 seed in Charlotte. And almost beat Seattle in Seattle. So all this, hey, he can't play and everything else, he's still 30 years old. You see the pictures of him online, he's in shape. He can still play. But, again, the good old boys in 344 Park Avenue have put up a brick wall. Thanks to John Elway, thanks to Bob McNair and Jerry Jones and others, piece by piece, it's coming down. And if Judge Burbank rules in his favor, and I'm hoping that he does it the Friday before the regular season starts, he's going to blow the brick house all over the NFL. And then what are they going to do? I also want to look at this new hits rule that the NFL put in place here earlier this year. Basically, try to cut down on head injuries and concussions, and they want you to basically, I guess, relearn how to tackle and not use your head to tackle. And it's just a mess. They're still trying to identify problems with what a catch is. You got rules, refs, all kind of stuff that's going on here. Now you have this redundantly stupid rule that comes along here last night. There were 2 hits in the Jets game last night that one you could look at and say, yeah, you can't do that because it was an actual helmet-to-helmet hit. The other one was just a basic tackle. The guy ran up on the guy, put his shoulder down, he turned his head before he did it, and it made it like his head was facing down, tackled him and got flagged for it. Neither one of those was one of those was kind of a helmet-to-helmet hit. Neither one was a headshot, neither one was reckless or intentional. Both of them got flagged. Then you add in the fact that the vice president of officiating put out this video this week of week 1 preseason action basically saying, hey, this is the right way to tackle, this is the wrong way to tackle. It was a complete waste of film study, structuring the video, and time because it proved nothing. And the first 3 examples in the video you can see are regular everyday hits. But there's nothing there to explain why this was a legal hit. The other 3 hits were deemed illegal. There's nothing there to explain, or no voiceover that says